Hello, good morning. I hope that you're all well and that you've had a good week. I've got lots to show you in today's video, and it includes the draw for the giveaway of the Potoky modern stand. The giveaway has very generously been sponsored by Velki Potoky and Kathy and David Mills of Hobby House Needleworks. It's all boxed up, waiting to ship. All it needs is a shipping label, and we're going to find out in this video whether that shipping label has your name on it. I'm going to do the draw a little bit further on in the video, so good luck. This week, it's been a very exciting week for me, both on a personal level and for Hands Across the Sea samplers. The highlight of the week for me has been an announcement by Janine Cheney of Acorns and Threads of the collaboration with us for the strictly, and it is strictly limited, release of Emiline Purnell. This sampler is just so beautiful. It's very elegant and it's just all about roses. It has this beautiful border of Chinese roses that dance around the outside of the sampler. Not one of these flowers is the same, so you're not going to get bored stitching that. The two bees in this bottom corner are the mark of the model stitcher. If you see two bees hidden away, or tucked away I should say, on a sampler reproduced by Hands Across the Sea samplers, that is the mark of the contented stitcher. The border encloses this beautiful bouquet of red roses, truly glorious. The sampler is worked in cross stitch over 2, with the exception of this little verse at the top. Now, I had fully intended to chart an alternative verse over 2 to include in the booklet, but the more I looked at this sampler, the more I felt that I would leave out the verse rather than stitch it in over 2. I think the sampler will stand well with no verse there at all. I can't take my eyes off this sampler. This sampler was reproduced quite some time ago, and it's been living on a windowsill next to my desk in the study, and I always have special samplers out on that windowsill, and I hope this has been my companion for quite some time. I showed this sampler to Janine on a visit to the States, and she fell head over heels in love with it. And it really is the perfect sampler for a store that is based in Portland, because that is known as the Rose City. So this sampler is only being ever released just this once, and it is strictly limited. The only place that you can purchase it from is Janine at Acorns and Threads. If you go to the Acorns and Threads website, you can search on Emiline Purnell, or you can go into the shop and find the entry. The website shows various different pages. There's a page for the chart, there's pages for different options of threads and different makes and colours and counts of linen and Aida. Now, Janine will be shipping US orders for booklets and kit orders from around the world. But for those of you who live outside of the US and are ordering just a booklet, I will be shipping those on behalf of Janine from the UK, so that you can take advantage of the lower postal rates from the UK. When you go to check out, her website will automatically default to the US charges, but Janine doesn't take any money when a pre-order is placed. when she processes the order, that's when she processes the payment, and the payment will automatically be adjusted for the lower postal rates. If you read the information on the web pages, it will show the postage charges for various different locations in the world. Now, Janine's website doesn't have options to ship everywhere in the world. If you're a stitcher that's in a country that doesn't come up on the shipping options, all you have to do is email Janine and she will add your country to the list and process your order manually. Right, so let's talk about the chart. Well, as it's a limited edition, she has a beautiful chart, but we're very conscious that there are a huge number of needleworkers, including myself, that prefer to stitch from a digital copy. So everybody who orders at Emaline will also receive a complimentary single page PDF of the graph. We're just so excited to announce this. This sampler has been a long time in the making. It's a beautiful booklet, and what I've done, there's a foreword from Janine, and then there's a little bit of a story from me. The chart is very clearly charted there for you to work from, but because we have this central motif, and it's quite a large motif, I thought it would be really nice for everybody to be able to work from a graph that had no overlaps. So in addition to this being charted over the pages of the graph, I've popped in a single page as well, just for this central motif. I thought that would make it a lot easier and more enjoyable. You have a bookmark which doubles up as a thread legend on the one side and a label for you to add to the back of your sampler on the reverse. Okay, so let's have a look. The design area is 182 stitches by 213 213. It uses a gorgeous palette of 15 colours, and the border, the colours in that border are exquisite. I don't know if the light today is capturing that properly. Let's have one more look. Look at those colours, they're so delicate. And I love all these beautiful greens in the leaves of the roses. Just exquisite. I had great fun putting this booklet together, and Sandra, who charted the sampler, really enjoyed working on the reproduction. Okay, so just to recap, this is available exclusively from Acorns and Threads. It's a strictly and limited edition release. It will never be released again. This is a one-off, and it is available exclusively from Acorns and Threads. Okay, so what other exciting things have happened this week? Well, I've had a finish. I finished Bertram Saville Ogle's sampler, and oh boy, did I enjoy working on that. I stitched a watering can. I've never stitched a watering can before on a sampler, and I did post in the week about this, that although Bertram's sampler is a typical schoolgirl sampler, you can see that the little boy chose motifs that were quite masculine, and I think that the colours in the sampler, you can see that those were colours from a little boy. They're not girly colours, and the colours have gone together so well. I'm really, really chuffed about that. I'm not going to show a photograph of the finished sampler because I want to surprise you with that when we release it, but there is this photograph which shows the vast majority of the sampler stitched. Didn't take me long at all to stitch this sampler. So anyway, a finish means a new start. So I have got the fun today of deciding on my options for the next sampler. So the sampler, I believe, comes from South America, and it uses two colours, a beautiful blue and red. Now, for those of you who have stitched Mathilde from the first red box, Letters from Europe, you will recognise these colours. That's the same two colours as Mathilde was stitched in, and these colours go together so well. The sampler is going to be stitched on Dirty Teacup from Needle and Flax. So those choices have been determined by the original sampler. But today I get to decide what case I'm going to use. And because of the red and the blue threads, I have decided that I am going to use one of these cases. Look how perfect those cases match the silks for my next project. I love to have everything coordinated. When I was a child, my mum used to dress us all in, everything was coordinated, and I've just grown up loving coordinating things. So I'm going to be using one of these cases. I'm not going to use the big one because there's only two colours. These will fit very nicely into these oval Winterberry cases, and I'll be able to tuck my silks and all my little goodies inside there. I'm looking forward to decorating my front flap, and I shall put some pretties, some blingy items on there. I've been just trying to decide what pin cushion to use, and I've decided to go with this one that was given to me as a gift. It has my initials NP on there, and this is going to work very, very beautifully with the red of this silk. And I've chosen my counting pins because I stitch with 56 count with size 12 beading needles. If I need to unpick a stitch, those needles are too delicate to do that. So I use a counting pin when I frog just to remove the stitches or unpick the stitches. So I've decided on that. I'm going to use this as my needle case because it has the red and the blue in. And again, this was a gift from a needle worker when I was at a retreat. Isn't that pretty? So that's going to be my little needle case and my thread catcher as well. When you have this sort of like felty flannel material, if you put a needle and with a thread on and you turn it over, it actually grips it. So those are very useful. I have to be so careful with the boys that I don't lose a needle and then they stand on it and it goes in their paw. So that's my little needle case. Now I have to decide on which scissors I'm going to use, and I have an option of my reds or my blues, and I just can't decide at this stage between the two. That's going to be my scissor block for the project. I will have to decide on the scissors later on. It might be quite nice to have a splash of blue in my setup because I've got a lot of red items here. Needle minders, I've got a choice between this one, which has the flower taken from Lucy Barber, and this was part of the words wisdom box, my red shoes. Girl's got to have red shoes. I've got red shoes on today. Or my double hearts, or my poppy. Now I've just used my poppy on Bertram, so I think I'm probably not going to use this one on the next project. I like to have a little bit of variety. I have a little notebook in red. I like to have a notebook when I'm stitching a sampler because it's one I've reproduced and it's a model. I often have to make notes. So I will be using this work tray and one of my Winterbury cases. I have to pick a zipper pull for my navy case. If I use the red, I'm going to use this little poppy one. Oh, maybe, actually, do you know what? I think if I'm going to use that poppy scissor pull, I am going to use my poppy needle minder. That might have sorted that out for me. Okay, so it's always great fun setting up a new project. Now that takes me to a post I made during the week where I mentioned that I was dusting and reorganising my cases, needle cases, about every month, 6 weeks. If I'm very busy, 8 weeks, but no longer than that. I like to go through all my needlework pretties and check them for condition, clean them, reorganise them. And when you take care of things, they last a long time. Now, scissors, for example, I'm very fortunate that I've got a lot of scissors, but I don't use all of those scissors. And because we live next to the sea, we have a lot of salt in the air here, and it corrodes things. You'd be surprised. You know, an outside light here will last 18 months, 2 years, no matter how expensive it is. The salty air eats into the metal. So going back to scissors, I like to check each pair of scissors on a regular basis. I like to open and close them, making sure that they haven't rusted at all or they started to seize up. Once my car, when I went to use it, and I hadn't used it for a long time, the gearbox had seized up. That's what happens with salty air. So I like to check that my scissors are operating smoothly. If they're not, I use some oil to oil the hinge points and the blades. I use the oil that you use on sewing machines, and then I clean them well afterwards, and that helps protect my scissors and makes them last. It takes a little while, but it's just like if you have brass and silver in your house. You know, you sit down and you lay out some newspaper and you're cleaning stuff and you just work your way through those items. And I do love doing that, getting all my scissors out and inspecting them and cleaning them, and then deciding which ones I'm going to use in the month ahead. When I put them back, I might rearrange them in the display case. I might change over the scissors that I have in workstation stands. It's lovely to play. It's just like being a child playing with your dolls. Okay, so, right. When I was in the States on the retreat with my friends, we posted a photograph of us working on a paper project. And I thought I would show you what the paper project was. Now, I made this several months ago as my mock-up for the project. And when I came to go to the retreat, I couldn't find it. It'd been packed away in all the packing that we've done for the work that's been going on in the house. So when I was unpacking to put everything back, I came across it. So what the project was that I gave my friends to work on was this little needle case made of paper. And because Kathleen loves Pride and Prejudice, as does I, it was based on Pride and Prejudice. So the flap says, I love him only. Pride and Prejudice is such a romantic novel. The back has this image, and that's the front, and then you open it up, and then you pull this out, and this has little flaps on that you can slip in needle packets. It's to hold your needles. And then the back has the same, but on the back there are little envelopes with messages on. We have intrigue, farewell, romance, marriage, pride and love. And the ideas behind these little envelopes are that you can slip needles into them. But Brenda had a wonderful idea. She decided not to seal hers up, and she opened it up and she was writing little messages inside. I think for marriage, she was going to put her marriage date and that sort of thing. I just thought that was a lovely idea. But these were originally intended for needles. So that was the project that we worked on when we were all together at Kathleen's house. And then this one says Pride and Prejudice. I didn't design this. This is a downloadable PDF from the internet. But you had, you printed off the design, you had to cut it out, and then you had to put it all together, and it was a lovely fun evening that we had. It's really nice to make needlework related items out of paper, because that's what the Victorians and the Georgians did. They crafted. The Victorians were the queen of the craft room. And you will find many paper-based items that Victorians and Georgians made that were related to needlework or crafts in general. So we had a wonderful, fun evening doing that. I had an email in the week asking me what was my favourite item that I take when I travel. Well, my favourite item is my needlework case, my light, my frame or my hoop. But I thought it would be really nice to tell you about two items that I couldn't travel without, that are not needlework related. And that is a power pack charger. When you're on the plane, you can't always rely on the plug socket to be working. And if I'm using my light on a flight across the Atlantic, I haven't got enough power in that light for it to work the whole way. So I always travel with these. It was bought from Amazon and it's VRURC. And if you're interested, if you email me, I'll send you the link. What's brilliant about this one is that it has all the different leads. So you have all the different types of, points. I cut my nails this morning. I cut them a bit too short and now I'm missing them when I'm using them. And then this one, which is the handle, is also another different type of point. So this, you have everything on, and I've just found this so useful. The other thing I like about this is that if my phone goes flat, I can charge my phone and I can have it like that. You can hold it like that. I remember being in Dallas Airport on a very long delay with no battery power and remembering I had this, and that was how I was able to use my phone. The other item that I like for long distance flights are my AirPods, so I can listen to a book, and those work just great. But if you want to listen to or watch a movie, you need to use the headphones that the airline supply, and they're too chunky for me, and I don't want wires running everywhere when I'm trying to stitch. So I have this little device called an AirFly, and you plug that into the sound jack by your seat on the plane, and that links through to your AirPods. That's a really good little item. So not needlework related, but it does free you up from cables so that it doesn't interfere with your needlework on the plane. Okay, one more thing before I do the draw. I have to say a huge thank you to everybody who has purchased Georgiana Caroline Williams. Thank you so much. I have been totally overwhelmed with the number of people who have acquired this chart. Thank you so much. It means a lot to us when you see what we see in a design. We don't ever release anything that we don't really like ourselves, and to me Georgiana is a beautiful sampler. Okay, so that just leaves us with the draw. Okay, so when I posted the first video for the draw, I had asked people to post a link in comments of the item they would most like, and we very quickly found that YouTube was removing those comments because they identified them as spam. So very quickly there were a lot of comments that built up on that email where people were saying they were having a problem, but they would like so and so without quoting the link. And when I realized what was happening, I took that video down. I edited the video to put a note on to say that you could just say the product that you most liked rather than a link. And I uploaded that video again. So there were 2 videos uploaded, one that you can no longer see and the one that had the correct information on. So we have 651 entries for the Potoky giveaway, and that is more entries than that show on the video that is visible, but the difference in the number are made up of the comments on the video that I had to take down. If you've commented on both, I have been very careful. Nobody has a duplicate entry on the list. It's 1 entry per person. And this took me a very long time to do because I was trying to check very carefully. So I have written or typed out a spreadsheet. There's umpteen pages. Everybody's name is on there, and I have double checked it. So what I need to do now is, do you know what, I have not got a pen. I wanted a pen to mark the sheet. I'll have to remember the number. So what I have done, on the random number generator, I have put in number 1 to number 651. So if I want to generate the number, let's see who's won. So good luck, everybody. Generate number 110. So let's have a look and see who on the list is 110. Right, 110 is that one. So that says La Vie. Oh God, I knew it was going to be one of the difficult ones to pronounce. Outside. There we are. 110. That is the winner. If that lady or gentleman, whichever it might be, would email Hands Across the Sea samplers with their actual name and their address, and I will arrange for the Potoky floor stand to be sent to you. If you haven't won, please don't be disappointed. We have several more Potoky stands to give away over the forthcoming months. Okay, right, a roundup. Emiline Purnell, She's stunning. She's just so, so beautiful. Acorns and Threads website is where you need to go if you wish to order this chart or kit. The charts that are purchased outside of the States will ship from the UK at the lower postage rates, and the postage rates will be adapted when your card payment is processed. And that will be when the order is ready to ship. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, right, until next week, stay well, stay safe. Bye-bye.